to come up, which all right. Are you seeing a PowerPoint presentation?
Yes, we're seeing it in not in presenter mode, but in the slides on the left as well, if that's what you wanted.
So you're seeing the preview?
Yeah, we're okay with it this way.
All right. Okay. All right. Then we'll just keep going. All right. So hello, everybody. I've been asked to talk about the role of the chapter coordinator, which is a position that we've had for quite some time, but there is often some confusion about it. So I want to see if I can demystify some of that today. So we're going to talk about the chapter coordinator versus a team member position. We're going to look at the list of the most common activities where we utilize chapter coordinators. And then, like I said, we're going to dispel some myths, I hope. And first off, let's just talk about this. So when I started many years ago, it was all about team leaders, and there really wasn't any discussion about chapter coordinators. I don't exactly know when that transition occurred, but currently we pretty much are exclusively using the chapter coordinator position. There may be some instances where you hear it referred to as team leader, but it really, all intents and purposes, it is the one and the same thing. But I like chapter coordinator better because it really does connote that, this is a position that's associated with a chapter, and not just this sort of generic sounding team leader. So what are those activities that you might see a chapter coordinator working with in a chapter or DRA? And I put up a list here of the most common ones. So it could be a DAT coordinator. We all are familiar with that. Could be disaster spiritual care coordinator. Could be DWE, mass care, feeding, sheltering. Any of those that you see on this list are positions that we would like to see filled in every chapter.
Hey, Kate, excuse me, are the slides moving or am I just locked up?
Anybody else not seeing them?
Oh, you're still on slide 1 for us.
Yeah, y'all still in the role of the chapter coordinator.
All right, we're going to stop and start over again. In fact, I'm going to ask Sam to put up the slide deck just because I think it'll go easier. Thanks for pointing that out, Al. All right, thanks, Sam. So quick preview, next slide, please. This is the agenda coordinator versus the team leader position, list of most common activities needing a coordinator, and then talking about the myths associated with this. Next slide. So these two positions, you may hear this referred to as either a chapter coordinator or a team leader position. They are basically one and the same. And the most current usage that what we prefer is this chapter coordinator. So that's what we're talking about today. Next slide. All right, these are the common activities that we would like to see each chapter have a coordinator for. And there could be a few others. And depending on the chapter, there may be a need for another position, but these are the most common ones that we'd like to see every chapter have filled, have at least one coordinator position in each of these activities. Next slide, please. So let's talk about the myths. I think there are some misconceptions about what this coordinator position is about. I know that we've had some challenges trying to fill these positions. uniformly across the regional footprint. So let's just talk about what those myths are. And if you're listening to this recording later on, hopefully you'll learn from this discussion, what this position is and is not, so that it may help you decide whether or not you might want to consider it. Next slide. So the first myth that I came up with is you have to know a lot about the activity. Really, you don't. You have to know something about the activity. Obviously, we don't want somebody that just started a week ago that doesn't know anything about sheltering. We don't expect that you would have enough knowledge at that point to be able to take on that role. But more importantly, we'd like to have individuals that have the passion and the interest in the position, not necessarily have, deployed in a sheltering capacity 20 times. It's actually better, I think, when you're looking at people that, maybe newer to the role, newer to the organization, that don't have 20 positions already like many of us do, and have some time and have, really a lot of interest in maybe exploring a new position. So you don't have to know a lot about the activity, but you do have to have a willingness to learn. And you need to view this as a role to sort of grow into. And we hope that at some point you will sort of consider yourself to be a subject matter expert, even if you may not be right at the beginning. Next slide. So the second myth is I'll be on my own, that I'll be given this position and then, I'll be sort of thrown into it and I won't have any support. That's absolutely 100% not true. Your DPX staff are responsible to make sure that you're supported. These positions report to the DPX staff. It's in their best interest to make sure that when you start in a coordinator position, that you have that support, that you have the opportunity to discuss with them a plan for how they want you to proceed. And you can discuss with them, what you're willing to do, what you're able to do, what you think needs to be done in the chapter to move your particular activity along. There also will be a regional program lead, and there is a program lead for every activity that I showed you on that earlier slide, that will also be there to get you started, answer questions, help you navigate sort of what the position is about. And then finally, and I didn't put it on this slide, but there's also a regional functional manager that is responsible or has responsibility for each of those activities. So, for example, Leslie Kaluzny is our client care manager, and she oversees all of the IDC functions as well as recovery. So, she would be another point of contact and a resource for you if you were taking on, for example, the recovery chapter coordinator role. When all is said and done, we want you to succeed. So we're going to provide you whatever support you feel you need, and you will definitely not be on your own. Next slide. Myth number 3, it will be more time than I want to devote. So that is definitely a valid concern. And rather than raising your hand and getting yourself into something that you're not sure of, please talk to your DPM up front about what your time constraints are, how much time you are available to contribute to the effort. There may be certain times of year when more time is required. So let's just take sound the alarm season as one example. If you are generally not available in March and April and May, then that might not, being the home fire campaign coordinator for your chapter may not be the best fit. Find out if your position is chapter-based or just for a DRA. We certainly have really big footprints with the last realignment, and we understand that you may not be willing to take on a coordinator position for your entire chapter, but maybe you would be okay with doing it for your DRA. That may be an option. So discuss that with your DPM, see if that's an option. And if needed, you could have there's a possibility that you could have a co-lead to work side by side with you, or perhaps you're a snowbird, you go to Florida in the winter, and you don't feel like you want to devote, time to the coordinator position over the winter months, but maybe there's someone else that would be willing to do that for that period of time. We can be flexible depending on what your situation is. So talk that over with your DPM. Don't discount the option without having that conversation. Next slide. Next myth, there will be a lot of technology. So I'm not going to lie to you. There will be some technology depending on the position. I suspect that many of you already are familiar with some of the systems or most of the systems that we use. There may be additional tech, as I put it, that you may have to learn if you decide to take on one of these positions. But again, you're going to have support. You're going to have those folks that I mentioned on the earlier slide available to support you, get you started. Don't let the technology scare you away. I don't think it will be as bad as what you think. And in some of the positions, I don't think it will be a factor at all. Next slide. Myth number 5, it's going to be work. So if you feel like, this sounds like it's going to be work, and it sounds like, just another position that, the Red Cross is asking you to take on, then that tells me that you're probably not very passionate about the subject. It probably wouldn't be a good fit for you. If you go into it feeling like it's going to be work, it is going to be work. We do want this to be a fun assignment for you and your team. So we hope that, if you feel like it's work, it's probably not a good fit for you. So please entertain this if you're looking for something that's different and fun, and it's something you're interested in. And one more. It's just another supervisor assignment. So it is a supervisory role. I'm not going to tell you that it's not. It does not entail all of the normal, maybe all the full suite of supervisory functions, but it is a chance for you, if you're an individual that wants to learn more about the activity, you want to grow your own skills and abilities. It certainly is an option, even if you still want to participate. So if you really like the smoke alarm installation program and you enjoy going out and helping people with that, you can still do that. Just because you're a coordinator doesn't mean you are not allowed to participate in the actual activity. We hope that you'll also see this as an opportunity to help your chapter with readiness planning. So if you if you're sitting there thinking, gosh, I don't think my chapter is ready for, has the capacity and the ability to open a shelter in, when it's needed in the middle of the night. I really wish we were better prepared. Then, maybe it's time for you to think about if you can help. Can you help and support your chapter and grow that team so that they are in a better position to do just that? And build a team of like-minded volunteers. I think that's one of the things that I enjoy is finding other people to join the team that, I do DWE a lot, so I have a team in the Northeast PA chapter, and I enjoy finding other people to join the team that have some interest in one of the DWE functions. And I think that's the last slide. yeah, so if anybody's watching this, has questions, you're certainly welcome to reach out to me to talk more about what the coordinator positions entail. And with that, if there's any questions from this group, I'm happy to entertain them.
Thank you, Kate.